You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
This is no dream. This is really happening.
This is no dream. This is really happening.
He chose you out of all the world, out of all the women in the whole world. He chose you. He arranged things because he wanted you to be the mother of his only living son.
His power is stronger than stronger.
Satan.
His might shall last longer than longer.
Yes, Satan!
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Moviesucktastic. We're reviewing a little film called The House of the Devil. Scott's challenge to me. Now, I watched this last night.
Can I say?
Yeah, sure.
Now, I do want to let you do a lot of this because I've already ranted about this film before. But I want to say I hadn't bothered to watch the trailer until you just played it for the opening.
Oh, really?
And that just pissed me off so fucking much. Because one of my problems with the film is the unneeded buildup about why this college girl needs money. And the first 15, 20 seconds of that trailer, actually half a minute of that trailer, is like the opening to any action film. You need $500,000 by tomorrow noon or I kill your brother. It's like the same kind of tension, except you need the first month's rent to get that apartment. And what the fuck? Really? But that's all I wanted to say. That trailer just pissed the fuck up. I was fine.
Ty West, you know, he's a child of the 80s. Maybe not even. How old is he?
He's not a fucking child of the 80s. He was in Teen Magazine earlier. He was born in 1980.
He was born in 80? He's a child.
He was born in 80. Yeah.
You know, for a short period, he was a part of the 80s. Well, anyway, I watched this film and I could see that he grew up watching, 80s horror, and he's trying to emulate that in this movie. For instance, Mary Warrenov, there's that one scene in the trailer and in the film where she says, "We're from the desert," That's a fucking ode to nomads right there. He put that in there because he knew she was in the film Nomads. That's all that was.
All right. Can I just say, he's not a child of the fucking 80s. He was born in 1980. I hate this guy passionately.
I know you do.
I mean, I don't know the person personally, but what a cock.
You don't like him because he's a hipster douche.
You know what? It's the closest I've ever become to agreeing with the term hipster, because I don't believe in it. But it comes close with this because, I mean, and just to underline, I did some quick research on him as a person, and there's one quote of his posted on IMDb about The Shining. And after like a lot of these shots of just the hallway with the girl walking down through the doors, I had no idea he was a Kubrick fan. And he's talking about, oh yes, when I first saw those little girls in the stairway, in the hallway, saying "Come with us forever," it was immediately burned into my skull, and I've grown up with that image. That movie came out the year he was fucking born. Scarier, more traumatic movies came and went before he was old enough to watch fucking horror films. I'm sorry. The Shining is like the one film that's burned in his mind growing up in the 80s. I could list a dozen 80s films that were more terrifying than The Shining. And I'm not knocking The Shining, even though I can. But it's just that kind of thing. He found his niche. He's obsessed with fucking Kubrick. And you can tell it in his films because apparently every film he makes, the whole idea is he has to do that kind of what people that make excuses for him call the slow burn. What really is do fucking nothing.
Very boring. It's very, very boring. And what he's trying to do too, he's trying to trick you in the movie. Like earlier in the film, there's the two girls are at the pizza parlor. right? And the one girl,
Hold on.
Megan. What?
Hold on. You're not setting it up. You're not setting it up properly. The first half hour of the film is dedicated to. The first half hour of the film is solely dedicated to making the audience aware that teenage girls in the 80s that were in college need money, don't like living in dorms, eat pizza, are stupid, and tend to make bad decisions. That took a half an hour to build up. Now, these are all common knowledge that anybody over the age of 10 understands, but we took a half hour to set that up.
Pretty much. And he tries to trick you a little bit, like the real estate agent. Well, at least in my head, I'm thinking, all right, this douchebag, he's going to take this real estate agent, she's going to be in on it somehow. You know? Because she's also a star of the... she made some horror films in the 80s, and that's why she's in the movie.
So wasn't she E.T.'s mother?
Yeah, but she was in a couple of other things.
I'm just saying.
Splatterfest movies.
By the way, E.T., before he was born. Fuck him. Keep going.
Well, anyway, her name is Dee Wallace. She played the landlady.
Right.
And, she was in Cujo. She was in The Howling. She was in Critters. So,
That's not him tricking you. See, what happened is, Joey... I'm sorry. Am I stepping on you or
no? Go ahead. I'll go back. I'll go back.
You and I, when we watch a film like this, we're looking for those clues. We already know it's called House of the Devil. The movie, we know this girl's going to be doing something. We know it involves a house. So when this landlord, makes this, you're thinking, oh, okay, this is part of the intricate plot. Because you're thinking ahead and thinking, oh, why he put this in here for this?
Exactly.
The problem is, Ty West doesn't do that because that would be that would involve writing a real plot. I guarantee you the screenplay for this is 15 pages long. There's fucking nothing in here.
Because nothing's going on. There's barely any dialogue. It's mostly music that builds up.
Now, tries
to build up a scene.
When you said boring, let's differentiate. It's not boring as in, I don't care what's happening on the screen or I'm not engaged in the characters. It's boring as in nothing happens. There is no progression. And we'll get into the logic of the film later. But just pacing. There's no pacing. It's just, okay. We're going to get to the house. And then once we get to the house, okay, she's in the house. We have an hour to kill before the ending, so... Hi, fish.
So they're in the pizza parlor, right? And here's another one of those things where we're just talking about how or at least I am, and I know you were. It's like, okay, the landlady's in on it. There's something going on. It's going to be part of this intricate plot, and of course, it never, comes to fruition, or it's not in the script at all. Well, when they're in a pizza parlor, she's eating the pizza, her friend Megan, and she goes. Not through great lengths, but she just points out, wow, this pizza is disgusting. I don't like it today. It's gross. And I'm thinking, all right, is there going to be a thing with pizza? Are they going to poison it? Is something going to be going on? Is like the people that own the pizza parlor in on it? Is the whole town in on it? You know what I mean? It just, that's what I'm thinking. Because then later on in the film, she orders a pizza, and she eats it, and guess what? It's kind of gross. So she throws it away. I'm like, all right, what's going on with the fucking pizza? All right, what is this pizza poison? Did they lace it with something so that she becomes more, subjective to what they're gonna do? It's just none of that happens.
Now,
it's just, she ordered pizza and it's gross, and she throws it away. That took 10 minutes.
Now, I do believe the pizza was drugged on the second time, though.
It was drugged on the second time?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because it took a real long time for that to kick in.
Well, she only had the one bite.
I guess. But the thing is, it's like, why did they set it up earlier in the parlor? It's like the same thing. Why did she just eat her
Oh, believe me. You believe me. It makes no sense. I'm not arguing that fact.
Okay. No, I know. I knew you weren't. But
there was only one incorrect statement in your vast statement that was completely true and dead on. Me correcting that one fact changed nothing about everything else you just said.
So she sees these flyers around the dorms and around the college campus that there's a babysitter needed, And there's a couple of tags ripped off, so you get the sense that some people have answered the ad. So she calls, and the guy tells her, "Well, I'll meet you at the school." And she's like, "Right now?" He's like, "Yeah, right now. Why not?" And he never shows up. And they do that for 10 minutes of her just waiting around. It's so drawn. It's just takes so long to do things. And it's a 95-minute movie. This film could literally be a 15 to 20-minute short film. And, might I point out, if it was a 15 to 20-minute short film, it probably would have gotten a lot of praise. Because when you take 15 to 20 minutes of this film, or if you take this film and you condense it down to 15 to 20 minutes, you might actually have something, because you're not waiting around an entire film for shit to happen. But you're waiting 95 minutes for something to happen. Just a lot of nothing.
And when it finally does happen, it's not worth the setup.
No.
Especially when the opening of the film. Let me just. And a spoiler alert, because I'm just going to reveal every single aspect of this film. So I will ruin it for you if possible, which is impossible because it's a bad fucking movie to start with. So it's not. I'm saving you. I
really think we can collaborate together and cut this down to a 20-minute movie.
How about just fucking throw it away? It opens up with the following text. A la Texas Chainsaw Massacre, although without John Larroquette reading it. During the 1980s, over 70% of American adults believed in the existence of abusive satanic cults. Why are we... I mean, now, I'm nitpicking here. Why specify adults? And why specify abusive? What it should say is, during the 1980s, 70% of Americans believed in the existence of satanic cults. Already, too much. Already, he can't fucking edit his opening statement. Right. It's wrong. Next, another 30% rationalized, unneeded, the lack of evidence due to government cover-ups. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No one ever.
The government's in on it, huh?
Yeah, at least not 30%. No. I know that fringe. I deal with that fringe. In some cases, I'm a part of that fringe. Not even close to 30%. The following is based on true, unexplained events. Don't need an unexplained. Just true events. How about just start based on a true story? Fucking stop. That's it. But again, we start off when it says satanic cults, right?
Right.
Film starts off, before it even starts, satanic cults. Film's called House of the Devil. We start off with a teenage girl. Oh, we know what satanic cults do to teenage girls. Then she gets a babysitting job. Well, we know what happens to babysitters when they're home
meet up in a house.
When they meet when the satanic cults, we know what satanic cults love babysitters. Then she goes to a big spooky house. Well, this has, especially, and it takes us half an hour to get there. So once we finally get there, it's like, well, this has to be the house of the devil. There's no other houses. We were in the dorms. It can't be the apartment she's going to rent because no one's there. This has got to be the house of the devil. There's got to be a satanic cult involved because the film told us that in the beginning. And this is the babysitter, and it's a horror film. We know something's happening to her. There's no suspense to build up to. There's no unanswered questions. We know something's going to happen in the fucking house. We knew it before the film started because of the text. Everything he does after supposedly building tension is not building tension. And it's not delaying gratifications, as I've seen some reviews try to speaking of rationalizing, it's just, he suspends the gratification of the violence. No, he just makes you wait an hour and a half for an ending that is not worth the wait, and what little storyline there is makes no fucking sense, and the rest of it's just watching somebody while away an afternoon.
Pretty much. And, on top of that as well, it's during a fucking full moon eclipse.
Well, again, babysitter, horror film, satanic cults mentioned in the beginning, House of the Devil. She turns on the radio, and tonight's the full eclipse of the moon. I wonder if that's going to have a play in this. It couldn't. It's got to be a coincidence.
Couldn't
my
possibly
money's saying
be.
no. It's like when you're on like Gilligan's Island, they turn the radio on. The Harlem Globetrotters have been lost at sea. Could this be a coincidence? This won't come up later in the show. Guess what? It does. Now, you could say he's playing with the conventions of of like the 70s and 80s horror films. A lot of people are saying that, and obviously he's trying to capture the style of horror films from the 70s and 80s.
Well, yeah, I mean, even with the opening titles all the way to just the credits of, you know, when it says House of the Devil and then it freeze frames, you know, with the year at the bottom. And then,
like,
she's moving along and then it freeze frames again. You know, that's...
The rapid zooms, the pan and tilts, going for, like, you know, we're talking before really, you know, before Steadicams were used for everything. It's obvious he's going for that feel. My argument is that you don't make an homage to bad movies by making a bad movie. You take elements that you like, and what he's done here is he's tried to duplicate exactly what it's like watching a boring horror film from the 70s. There's a difference, though. They weren't doing it on purpose back then. They were padding time. They were trying to get exactly the 90 minutes. They were filling it. That was poor screenwriting. When you try to copy a bad work of art, all you're doing is making bad art. I don't care if you release the video in like a clamshell case and say, "Ooh, see, it's a VHS tape." Fuck you. It's just as fucking shitty now as it would have been back then, and there's no novelty to it when you don't do anything new with it. At least, go ahead.
And the thing too with a lot of these older films where they did pad it, they usually padded it with gore or some sort of something going on. You know, it's like, oh, okay, we need to kill 5 minutes. All right, let's have this the main villain dismember this person in like a gory way, and then that'll get us to the next scene.
You mean shit would happen?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm thinking.
They move. They stumble from scene to scene to scene. Oh, something happened. It was very short, but something happened. To scene to scene. The whole film is like that.
Can I give an example of a low-budget horror film from 2 years before this cock was born, as an example of what you're saying?
Uh-huh.
Let's go with, forget Kubrick. Let's go with another famous person that, again, I'm emulating Kubrick. Yeah, you know what? You're not shooting this over budget and with like 10 reels of film to a frame, so shut the fuck up. Let's compare him to Carpenter and the 1978 film Halloween.
Sure.
You watch Halloween now, as I've revisited it recently, there are long, slow scenes. Carpenter spends a good 2 minutes just following someone walking down the sidewalk.
Right? No, exactly. And the reason why it works there is because there is genuine tension being built up for it.
Well, because we know it's Halloween, and we know there's a crazy guy running around. So the question is, when's he gonna strike? When's he gonna strike? Because she's going out to the laundry room, which for some reason is in a shed 5 miles from the house. Maybe it's gonna happen there. Oh wait, she's taking her clothes off. Maybe it's gonna happen here. But the little kids are here. It's like you're throwing all these situations where something could happen.
Right.
And like you said, you don't just fill the entire hour and a half with not Jodie Foster.
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Thank you, Jamie Lee Curtis. My brain flipped. We didn't spend an hour watching Jamie Lee Curtis flip through magazines on the couch while the kids watch horror films. Other shit happened elsewhere. We cut to Loomis with the cop. There's a dead animal. Who could do such a thing? He's evil. We cut over to the girl getting in the car. Oh, they're gonna make out on the couch. Now she's dead. There's action. There's things. We're going from place to place.
That's a great kill scene too.
Yeah. Now again, there's a lot of long, drawn out, padded scenes. Overall, the whole film only has maybe a body count of what, 3, 4? Not much at all.
Yeah, no, handful.
If
tops.
that. Yeah, a handful. Not, less than 5. But there's still earned tension. There's more plot going on. Things are explained. There's multiple storylines, not intricate ones, but still, something's going on. We have, in Ty's version of a 1970s, 80 horror film, one girl in a house waiting for something to happen because we know it's going to happen here. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh no, and that's only after a half an hour of, do I get the babysitting job? You know what film actually Adventures in Babysitting. She gets the babysitting job faster than this film.
It's another 80s classic.
Yes. And that had a lot more action in it, but I digress. That's
Had
a whole
Thor.
different story.
Had Thor.
Yeah, ahead of its time.
Yeah, pretty much.
And goddamn Ty West for putting Mary Warrenoff in this piece of shit.
He got her because he's a fan, and he convinced her to do it. We're
I
from the desert, you know. Nomads. Don't even tell me otherwise.
I totally reject the thought that he's a fan of Mary Warrenoff. I totally reject it.
And you know he is, though.
I reject it, though. What's he a fan of hers that he's, like, doing something similar to? Everything she in was, like, you know, interesting.
Wouldn't it
Even
be
the
funny?
bad shit.
Wouldn't it be funny if they remade TerrorVision and they got Ty West to do it?
I will. Well, hopefully his popularity is waning a bit. I don't see too much coming out from him. I mean, can do you, well, you know, I don't want to. You go. I'll rant nonstop. I'll take over the whole show. Oh, you go, because I'll keep going. Stop. I'll stop.
All right.
You go.
But like you said, they spent a lot of time just getting her to the house, and then when they get her to the house, Tom Noonan, who I love Tom Noonan. How the hell did he get Tom Noonan?
Because Tom Noonan ain't doing much these days.
He doesn't have to, though. I think he's built himself enough of a cult status in enough films that he doesn't have to. He's probably not really well off, but he doesn't have to do it if he doesn't want to. You know that he could get parts all day long if he wanted them. Now, he was walking around in a cane in this film, and I wonder if that's real. Like, if he really needs a cane because he's just so tall. And maybe
possible.
As he's getting older, you know, he's a little crickety.
That's possible.
I was more interested in that than in this film. It's like, why is Tom Noonan walking with a cane? Is that real? Is that for the movie? Was it his idea? He was given a little manhunter near the end of the film too, when he was in the hood, and he's like putting his head back, and he's kind of getting into what's going on. And I'm like, that's totally Manhunter. And I'm like, and I would be pissed if Ty West asked him. He's like, give me a little Manhunter. Come on, just give me a little Manhunter. It's like, you fuck. You don't know what the hell you're doing.
I have a question. No, go ahead. Ignore me.
No, I was just gonna. We're giving away everything in this film, right? We don't give a shit.
Yes. Fuck
okay.
Yes.
When the girl, when her girlfriend drops her off at the house, and she basically tells her, "Don't do this. It's creepy." You know, I have a bad feeling. Yada yada yada. And she's like, "No, it's $400. I can pay my rent. You know, for the whole month in one shot in one night."
And thankfully, we have that backstory set up, because normally a college girl would turn down $400 for house sitting for an evening. Flat. Wouldn't even think twice about it. No, thank you. But knowing that she has an apartment she wants makes it gives the story depth. Go continue.
The only time that I got a bit of a twitch of maybe Scott's wrong about this, you know, was when she drops her off and then leaves, and she pulls over into a cemetery for God knows what fucking reason to light a cigarette, and she can't do it, and some stranger comes by and he, you know, fumbles with his Zippo, and she's like, "Oh my God!" So, and then she realizes, oh, it's just some guy wanted to light my cigarette, and he's like, "Are you the babysitter?"
Hold on. Yeah, you're right. She freaked out, then realized, wait, it's just some guy that happened to wander into a cemetery in the middle of the night with no one else around, and offer me a light. Nothing unusual.
Nothing
out of the ordinary. Nothing that a teenage girl that's already looking out for rapists, it's nothing that she'd be concerned about. Just, a stranger in a cemetery walked up and asked me if I needed a light.
Exactly.
I can relax now.
I can sit back.
Fear here.
Just drove away from a real creepy house in a real creepy area. You know, it's nighttime, middle of the woods.
I'm completely worried sick about my friend who's being paid $400 to sit in a house with an old person, because I think that's bizarre and dangerous. But a stranger in a cemetery, what's more welcoming?
That's right. He's got a beard. He's got a Scully hat on. He looks perfectly normal. So anyway, he lights her cigarette and he's like, "Are you the babysitter?" And you expected something to happen, but then just literally in a split second, he blows her face off. Like, literally, the face is blown right off. And I'm like, well, that was kind of cool. I was like, that was kind of cool. It's like, all right, maybe Scott's just maybe overreacting a little bit. Maybe his hatred for Ty West, maybe I'll end up liking this film. Yeah, it's a little long, it's a little drawn up until that point, but it's like, something happened. Because I know one of your biggest complaints was that nothing happens. And then that happens, and then you literally wait around for an hour for something else to happen. Literally, for an entire hour. And that's kind of like the height of the film is when her friend gets her face blown off. Because it was not that because it was unexpected. You expected something, but it was just so quick, and it was like, oh, that was kind of neat.
It was something.
Yeah, it was something.
It was something.
So then, pan back to the house, and she's literally waiting in the house. She tries to call her friend. Her friend doesn't answer. She's like, all right, get a grip. She's just not home yet, even though the dorm is, 10 minutes away? This is like she tries to call her, like, in movie time, probably a half an hour to 45 minutes later. She's like, she's not home yet. And then they go from that to her just walking around, kind of exploring the house. Then they go from that.
No, I'm saying the phone call. The phone call. I'm just quick interjection. The phone call. Oh, gee, my friend's not answering the phone. That might have injected some kind of tension in the film if we didn't already know she's dead. True.
Very true.
So the one chance we have of there's something we don't know, something that's going on. No, we know. It's just we're just gonna watch her. When you know the other line end's not gonna pick up, it's not tension. It's waiting for her to hang up the fucking phone.
Exactly. So then they go from there basically to she orders a pizza. She gets a number off the fridge that they gave her to order a pizza. I don't understand why she just doesn't order from her favorite pizza place. She just takes the recommendation of the guy. It's like he's right in town. Why would you use the number he gives you? But whatever. I don't want to nitpick too much. So she calls a pizza in and calls it in. Then she hears some bumps and noises, just little shitty, stupid things just to try and build tension, which does nothing, by the way. And she's like, I'm going to call 911 because she still can't get in touch with her friend. And then she hangs up real quick. She's like, I'm not going to do that. Get a grip. It's stupid. Then 911 calls back. And you hear, hello, 911, this, emergencies, is this an emergency? And the person on the other end just has got a creepy voice where you're thinking, all right, this person's in on it. It's like they intercepted the call somehow. I know it's 1980, but they did it somehow because there's no way that she called 911 because they called her right back immediately without, it's like, how did you get this number? It's like, what are you talking about? It's 911. But they don't even answer that it might be whoever called back is in on it too. So then they move on from that to her actually getting the pizza, where that is supposed to try and build tension, because it's just like, oh, what's going on? There's noises, there's this, and it's just the pizza guy. Oh, here, take the money, keep the change. She grabs the pizza, doesn't even look at the guy.
Right.
Holds the pizza, holding it close, like, oh my God, that was so scary. Then goes and, sits down, sits on a bed, starts eating a pizza like nothing just happened. Like there was nothing scary, nothing's going on, no build-up. And then she's like, oh, this pizza's kind of gross. Goes back downstairs, throws the fucking pizza away. Stop me if I'm boring you. This is literally the whole film. It just bumps into the next scene, into the next scene, into the next. It's so fucking annoying.
And then what? So after this whole thing, eventually, she trips over her dead friend at some point.
Yeah, she stumbles into the. No. She's actually already in the ritual when she finds her dead friend.
Oh, okay, that's right. And
yeah, she kind of just stumbles around. Right? Yeah. Well, what she ends up hearing is bumps and noises of what's coming up from the attic, which I can only assume are people kind of still alive and they're bumping around.
Oh, and let me just explain. I didn't bother rewatching the film per se because it's so burned in my memory. So as far as how it ends, I'm just like a little foggy on some of the transitions.
All right,
but
I'll tell you all about it if you need it.
Yeah, but I remember the fucking film, so the reason why I'm asking was in the attic is like I'm just trying to recall that because
Right,
at this
so-
point you start nodding off. But anyway,
I did actually fall asleep last night. And here's the thing too. I hit the info button to see where I was time wise, and it was an hour. It was like literally exactly an hour, and I'm like, all right. And I literally fell asleep right after that, and I woke up at the 1 hour and 6 minute mark, and nothing new had happened. And I'm just like, and so I rewound it 6 minutes, and I was mad at myself that I did that because I watched 6 more minutes of nothing. So she's bumping around. She finally bumps around, and she's walking around the house, and I'm assuming that either the pizza was drugged or a combination of her being clumsy. She passes out. I think she hits her head, if I'm not mistaken. And she wakes up tied up in the attic with a pendulum drawn on the ground, and she's in the middle of it. And it's like these flashes, like flash, flash, flash of the candle, flash, flash, flash of her face, flash, 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 the whole shot of her in the pendulum, Yeah. And then the next thing is these 3 morons, Tom Noonan, Mary Warnoff, and the guy with the beard. He comes in, and they're all... and some fucking demon-looking thing that you only assume he keeps talking about his mother. I don't know if it's his mother or not, and they've been living for 200 years. Who the fuck knows?
I think it's just the devil.
It was... Well, I don't think that was for the simple reason of how it ended.
Does it matter?
It doesn't. Well, it matters for my movie challenge to you.
It's whatever impregnated her.
Right. It's
Right.
whatever impregnated her.
Now,
The whole thing is, there she cuts her hand, bleeds into this fucking goat skull or whatever the fuck that is, ram. Whatever is the fucking... I'm thinking like Altered States type shit.
Goat's fine. Yeah.
And she takes the blood and pours it in her mouth, and she ingests some of it, and she breaks loose and scratches this demon fucking thing's face and runs out of the house. Doesn't run out of the house. She runs. She stumbles into the bathroom where her friend is. The guy with the beard is like, oh, and he shoots her, and she's like, oh my god. She grabs a fucking knife where the pizza was, cuts his throat. This is the most action you've seen in an hour and 25 minutes.
Ooh, she used like a butcher knife to cut the pizza.
Who does that?
Yeah,
it might be 1980, but there's no pizza cutter anywhere in the house. Every house has a pizza cutter. I don't care if you worship the devil or not.
And that shit's pre-sliced. I mean, it's not all the way through.
It was really pre-sliced.
You can wiggle it. You don't just like, where's the biggest knife in the house? Because I have this cheese. If you need that to cut through the cheese, don't eat the pizza. The reason why they focused on her cutting it so they can put squishy noises when she cut through it. This is what happens when you have a writer-director.
Editor. He
that's
edited
not
the film too.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have a writer-director that's not also a fucking genius.
If he had a proper editor, he might have said, "Listen, we got 45, maybe an hour in this. I can't do much else."
Or if he had a proper writer or director, someone would have said, "Yeah, okay, so the butcher knife, what the fuck? Really, for a pizza? Can we think of something else that's less stupid?" I'm just looking not stupid at all, just less stupid. How about that?
Right.
But I cut in. She grabs the guy's gun too,
she escapes. She slices the bearded guy's throat. He bleeds out. He's dead. Mary Warnoff comes in, and she's basically calling her stupid, bitch. You can't stop this. What's going on? It's gonna happen anyway. Drags her into another room, stares out the fucking window, and starts praying to the fucking devil, saying, "Lord, please fucking tell me what's going on." And of course, she pulls back her fucking hood, and she's got no fucking hair. Hence the scene earlier in the movie where she sees a bathtub full of fucking hair.
Right.
And on top of that, she's just staring out, "Oh, Lord, please tell me, please answer me." And then she gets fucking stabbed in the back. And now she's fucking dead. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck is going on? Why doesn't she just...
the girl with the knife.
Exactly. She doesn't take the knife away. She just figures she's shot and she's bleeding on the ground. Whatever. You don't see the knife. You shouldn't be worshiping the devil. You're not smart enough.
So,
So then she runs out of the house, and Tom Noonan, he chases after her. And of course, where do they end up? In the fucking cemetery, because it's like 60 seconds away.
Right.
So she's screaming and yelling, "Oh my God, what have you done?" He's like, it's like, and he's like calm about it too. He's like, "Listen, talk to me." You know, it's like, "Hey, let's talk." I know we just tried to, do some crazy shit in my attic, but come on, let's talk. I'm not a bad guy. At least that's what I get from Tom Noonan in that scene. I'm not such a bad guy. Come on. So she wrestles away the gun from the bearded guy before she escapes the house. And you don't really see that until she's out in the cemetery with Tom Noonan. And just very nonchalantly, he tells her, "You can't stop what's going on. Don't even bother trying." And she puts the gun to her head. Boom.
Well, don't gloss over the point. Don't gloss over the fact that she realizes at this point that she's been impregnated by some kind of demon.
Right. Well, exactly.
Which is why she shoots herself in the head.
Exactly.
And wait for the twist ending.
They fade out to a hospital, and again, I'm still at this point saying, all right, she's like in some hospital that they fucking own, or who the hospital's in on it or whatever, and they just they pan into the bedroom and she's
why
there.
would you say the hospital's in on it?
I don't know. I'm waiting for something to happen. Something good to happen.
What happened is she shot herself in the head and missed, which it happens.
Well, she didn't miss entirely. She just missed enough not to kill herself.
Right. So she's like comatose, but she's going to bring the baby to term. So
that's because the nurse comes over, gives her a shot of probably what looks to be morphine of some sort, and she's like, "Oh, poor thing." So poor thing.
Why would you care about what's in the? It could be morphine. We don't know.
I don't know. I'm just trying to get something.
Well, here the basic.
Hold on, real quick. To end that scene, she's basically she's talking over her. She's, like you said, comatose. "Oh, poor thing, poor thing." Pats her stomach and says, "You both are gonna be just fine." And then credits roll.
Right.
So if you didn't get, literally 60 seconds earlier that she'd been impregnated by this demon thing, they tell you again. They they just hammer it home.
Joey, the guy spent a half an hour setting up that the girl wants to get an apartment for money. You think he's not going to spend an extra minute underlining the fact that there's something inside of her belly growing? Come on. Subtlety's out the window.
Yeah.
Now, can I... You know what the Rotten Tomatoes rating is on this?
I bet it's high.
86 fucking %.
Yeah.
Guess who gave it a good review?
Stephen Whitty.
Guess how many stars?
3.
Fuck yes.
That prick is he's so predictable.
Sure, finally getting a close-up of the creature or the big kiss is what keeps us waiting, but the wait itself is a huge part of pleasure, and the longer we're kept at bay, the more satisfying the payoff becomes. That's the rationalization everybody who defends this film gives. And now, you and I, we're the kind of people where when someone says, it's slow, it's boring film, we immediately say, it's probably a good film.
Sure. Perfect example.
We're used to hearing
Valhalla Rising.
Yeah.
Got bad reviews. Oh, and don't get me wrong, it's a slow movie.
Even I was like, all right, but still, it's got its merits. So you and I are of that ilk that normally are the people to say, you're just fucking attention deficit, short attention span. Just, you have to enjoy the film. So when we come out and say it's slow and boring, it means something.
Exactly.
All these critics it's Magnolia all over again. No one can admit it's a bad film. No, it's not. It's really just you have to be in the moment. What fucking moment? I've sat around my house for 2 hours.
Well,
and ordered pizza.
And we disagree on Magnolia because I did enjoy Magnolia.
Let's not get into that.
We won't.
We're going to
just leave it. We're going to leave it at that.
I enjoyed parts of it. It's not a good film.
Respect the cock.
Again, I enjoyed parts of the film. It's not a good film. It's 3 good movies interwoven together into a big piece of shit. But that's not what we're talking about. Oh, look, she's looking at the piano. I have mine set to a random scene. So let's, beyond the whole boring part, let's take the plot. I would like to, let's go through the let's take it from the satanic worshippers' point of view.
Okay.
All right. Eclipse of the Moon's coming up. We gotta give Satan a son. We need to get a teenage girl and perform a ritual and get a sacrifice. Apparently, we don't have to worry about the virgin thing anymore. We got a loophole for that. Doesn't have to be a virgin. Just has to be teenage and girl. Because
right.
middle-aged, women as a whole can't really have it. It's got to be young, attractive college girl. So what do? How do we get a college girl? Let's go out and grab one. What do you mean? Well, I've got a van. Let's drive out. Let's find one on the corner of the road or in an abandoned cemetery and just grab them. No. Let's do this. Let's put up flyers and advertise for babysitting. We don't have a baby. We'll worry about that when they get here. Now, can you see automatically where the plan's falling apart?
Yeah. I mean, they even worked into the script that, listen, I know I called you here for a baby. We don't have one. It's my mother. You won't have to do anything. You just have to sit around. It's like, really? I didn't realize that's really what was going to happen, too.
Yeah, well, and even take it a step further. I mean, again, just imagine you're in this group of Satanists. We don't have a baby. We don't have a baby. We're going to have a babysitter. She's going to show. We're not going to have a baby to watch. Says, well, don't worry about that. We'll just tell her something else. What we tell her? We'll just tell her that she's going to babysit our grandmother instead. Then why don't we just put up a sign for grandmother sitting? Because we may not get any calls for that. Sure we will. I got an idea. We don't have anybody. How about we just put up a sign for house sitting? Let's do that. No. Let's do babysitting and just cause confusion when they get here. It works better. Trust me. Okay. And now, so when do you want to put these flyers up? I'm thinking a month or two in advance. We'll get somebody set up. We'll get the day. No, let's do it the day of. The day of what? The day of, the day we need to.
You mean the one shot we have for the full moon eclipse?
You want to wait till the last minute to lure a girl to the house? Yeah. I mean, how about a week in advance? No. Let's do it the day of. Random pick. Okay. So you're gonna just put these flyers up all over the college, right? Yeah, because college girls. Okay. Yeah. All right. That makes perfect sense. So once the girl gets here, and she finds out we don't have a baby, we grab her, right? No. I'm going to give her a lot of money, and we're going to leave the house. And do what? Oh, we'll come back later when it's time to do the whole ceremony. She's going to get there 8 o'clock. We have hours to kill. What if she tries to get out? Well, she won't get out. Well, you going to lock her in? No. We're just going to, assume that she's not going to leave. But all right, I'll tell you what. All right, it will make you feel better if we drug her. Yes, I'd feel so much better if we drugged her. Okay, here's what we'll do. When she comes here, I'll tell her that we've got that there's a pizza place you get pizza from. Okay,
what if she's
we'll
in
put
the
the
mood for
down.
Chinese.
Yeah, what if she's not hungry?
No, she'll be hungry and she's going to want pizza. She's a college girl.
All right, what if she already knows another place that delivers? No. I'm going to give her this number and tell her it's very good. So she'll only order from that pizza place and not any place else she may already know. Since as being a teenage girl in a college dorm, I'm sure she doesn't have numbers saved of fast food places that deliver. Okay, so what if she doesn't have the money? So, I'm going to be paying her lots of money. What if she doesn't want to spend money on pizza? I'll tell you what, I'll give her money for the pizza too. So you're going to offer her $100, $200 to babysit a baby that's not there, and then you're going to give her $20 for the pizza. Yeah. Now that won't be suspicious. No. So if she actually does order a pizza, what? Well, we're going to drug the pizza. Okay. All right. Do you have a drug that won't make the pizza taste nasty? She'll eat enough that she'll be fully under the powder. No. It tastes like ass. She'll probably get one bite and stop eating it. Then what the fuck good does that do us? Well, at least we'll know she's had some of the drug. And rewriting this film from the point of view of the Satan worshippers, knock, knock. I'm here for the babysitter job. Thank you. Cane over the head, not shut the door. All right, we're done.
Yeah, there's obviously no one around. He could have fucking assaulted her in the front of his house and dragged her in.
And it's not like teenage girls weren't disappearing left and right during the fucking 80s or 70s. It was very popular back then.
Right.
Ted Bundy did it for kicks. Richard Ramirez. I mean,
And
raping,
no one would have
raping-
noticed her until the next day at the very soonest.
If police don't investigate that kind of shit. It's a total eclipse coming up. I had no idea that would have any bearing. So the pizza alone is just a red flag. The pizza alone is a deal breaker.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Here's the number for the pizza place. I highly recommend it. As like, here's some money for the pizza too. I'll pay for the pizza. This guy really wants me to have some pizza. Huh.
And not for nothing, she had pizza earlier that day. First of all,
And
I
she
love
did-
pizza, but if I had pizza earlier in the day, I'm probably not having it again that evening.
All right,
But that's me.
Not the weakest logic flaw of the film.
No, it's not. What if she wanted, like I said, what if she wanted Chinese?
And
Hey.
you should see. I browsed the IMDb message boards for fun. You should
boy.
see some of the elaborate lengths that people have gone through to defend the film, saying, "Oh, what they probably did is it was probably like they probably had to have her there by chance, and it had to, there's probably rules to say that she could only come that day, and really because none of this is mentioned in the film, so you can just pull that out of your ass all you want." And let's throw another one in. What if she was specifically the girl they wanted? What if it wasn't a random thing? What if they actually wanted her? That makes even less sense. Since they stood her up the first time.
Right.
And what happened to that girl?
Because they thought they had somebody else.
You want to know what happened to the other girl? I'm here for the babysitting job. Oh, we don't have a baby. It's my old mother. Says, well, I'm out of here. See ya. I'll give you $1,000. Yeah, fuck you. Bye.
Well, and they even mentioned that he says that. He goes, yeah, there was a girl here before. She just couldn't handle it. She left.
She's totally irresponsible.
Yeah.
All right. If that didn't happen, why the fuck are they like trying to lure her by initially not letting her come, not picking her up, and then if that was a case of a random girl, didn't like that first call clue them into the fact, gee, it's kind of unusual to bring them here for a babysitting job, then suddenly talk about our old mother in the house or something.
Right.
Worst satanic cult ever. Ty West is a fucking. I can't even. How this guy's got any kind of cult following? He's got to be friends with Eli Roth. It's got to be it. He's got to be buddies. Somebody that he went to film school with is doing great, and they're bringing him along. And by word of mouth, this guy's getting jobs. Have you watched any of his other films?
The only thing I've ever seen by him otherwise is that the short that he did for the original VHS.
Right, Second Honeymoon, which was
Yeah.
the most boring, lamest, pointless piece of that fucking film. That's the only part of that film where I was like, this is just stupid. There's no point.
I didn't hate that scene, but you're right. It was the most drawn out, most boring part
what's
of
there to like
the
about
movie.
it? What's
I
there to
didn't
like
hate
about
it. I didn't. Well, I don't know.
There's
just.
Tell me, come on! You cannot tell me you did not sit through that entire segment and every 3 minutes just thinking, and the next segment starts now, and the next segment starts. Nope, just still talking. Oh, yeah, no. Fucking, I sat through The Innkeepers.
I didn't see that yet. That's another film of his that got good reviews.
And another film of his that is 90% watch shit not happen. And again, it's set up. We're in a hotel that's supposed to be haunted, and there's no one here, and we're ghost hunters, and we're trying to find ghosts. Okay, I'm guessing they're gonna find a ghost. That's a natural assumption. Oh, and a psychic just checked in. Oh, there's gonna be something going on here. All right, now let's watch nothing happen for the next hour or so, and then at the end something will happen, and it'll be like, oh. It's everything this guy does is like, I was like, The Shining, because I was inspired by The Shining. How about being inspired by a fucking plot, motherfucker? Apparently, he did a film called The Roost, or not The Roost. That was one he just directed. He didn't write it, so I don't know how bad it was. Trigger Man, 2007. I was looking at some of the reviews for this. It's got 4.3 stars on IMDb. I have not seen this film, but the first review I came across was just like, oh, this is a Ty West film. Shit, and it moved the review. Somebody else bumped it. Fuck. What happened to that? Oh, here it goes. When people say there is nothing but walking around for a good hour, this is not an exaggeration. In fact, it may be too generous, because for about 5 whole minutes, the 3 hunters sit and do absolutely nothing. I thought the screen had frozen. and so did the person I was watching it with. But no, they just weren't moving. And this is long before any action, so it's not like the film is building tension. That's from the 2007 film he made. I see a trend forming.
You know, I'm on the wiki page, and it always gives the plot, or whoever writes it usually writes a pretty detailed, synopsis of what goes on in the film. The plot for House of the Devil is 2 very short paragraphs.
That's too long.
If you printed it, it would be maybe a quarter of a page, a piece of paper, because they literally, looking at it, they got everything that the entire film. We're spending entirely too much time reviewing it.
I agree. That's how much hate. That's how much hate this thing.
That is how much hate. But we're spending entirely too much time reviewing it. You could literally review this in 5 minutes. But we want to give everyone a good review. We want to kind of explain to them what's going on. Let's put it this way. In the time it took us to review this movie, which is about an hour, we've given more than the film could ever give.
Oh, yeah. I've got a knife for pizza now.
So, do you want to go ahead and review this?
Hang on. There's one more thing I want to bring up. I was doing my research. Apparently, he directed Cabin Fever 2, Spring Fever, which I have not seen.
That's how he knows Eli Roth.
That's why I'm thinking. Eli Roth apparently is also introducing his new film coming out in 2013 that I can't find listed anywhere, called The Sacrament.
Seriously.
The plot is 2 journalists set out to document their friend's search to find his missing sister. Sounds like a found footage piece of shit to me again. This guy's got a fucking I can't even. Anyway, apparently Cabin Fever 2, he was a director, which he must have gotten the job after House of the Devil. It's like, oh, this guy's a horror. He's an up-and-coming cult horror film. Well, let's give him a film to direct. Apparently, he was dissatisfied with the film. Didn't like where the producers were and the writing was going with it. Mm-hmm. So he tried to have his name taken off the film, but the union wouldn't back him up, so he had to keep his name on the film. He tried to pull an Alan Smithy, and all I can see is him arguing with the producers, and all right, so wait, so you tell me nothing happens for the first 45 minutes of this film? Yeah, we're building tension. Have you seen the first Cabin Fever? I mean, it's not an action-packed film, but shit happens. This is a high school reunion shit we got here. No, but you got to slow it down. The pacing is you got 10 minutes of 2 guys talking in a hallway. No. We need, but you're making it move too fast. This film's not ready for this. I would love, like one person. Oh, I would love to see the director's cut. I would love to see a director's cut, Ty West director's cut of Cabin Fever 2 as well, because I guarantee there's just long drawn out scenes of I guess a prom.
Maybe.
Probably even the drive to the prom with a nice 15-minute discussion setting up how this guy wants to go to the prom with this girl, but she went with somebody else, because that's not common enough a story for us to understand just in an introduction. I haven't seen this film, but again, he didn't write it. The story is written story by, which means he wrote it, and then they sell the screenplays. How come this is only 25 pages? And then when they added shit, it's like, wow, you're ruining my vision. Fuck you. It's not a vision. It's a fucking horror film, asshole. Put something entertaining in it and get on. Oh, I'll show you. And then 2 years later, he does The Innkeepers. And goddamn, everybody who keeps apologizing for this fucking talentless fucking... He's a good... You know what? He has talent. You know what his talent is? Cinematography. He knows how to film something. He's not a filmmaker. To be a filmmaker, you have to be able to tell a story and make people interested in the story. This cocksucker does neither, and I'm tired of fucking hearing about him.
So he should just be a cinematographer. He'd probably be very successful as a cinematographer.
There's nothing wrong with the camera work in House of the Devil. Even the editing's not bad. I mean, the editing's good. He's a technical guy. The problem is somebody keeps letting this fucker write screenplays. Yeah. And then directing his own screenplays, which, as Kevin Smith has proven, not always a good idea.
Even John Carpenter proved that. As long as John Carpenter is not directing his own screenplay, he usually... Well, not usually. I'd say every time he's not directed his own screenplay, he's hit a home run.
There you go. Sometimes you need someone else to say, listen, all right, you're good doing this, but tell you what, let somebody else chime in. And
he wrote Halloween, and you know why that was good? Because he was full of fucking vim and vigor. It was his first movie. He put his entire fucking soul into that. That's why he made that work. But then from that point on, he didn't write any of his own stuff.
Carpenter, on his worst day, in his worst film, is at least shit happens in his movies.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, long story short, fuck Ty West, and House of the Dead is a boring piece of shit.
So let's go ahead and rate it on IMDb. Currently, it is very, very high at 6.4.
Bullshit. I call bullshit.
17,000 users. Let's take a look at what the average is. I bet it's a lot of...
Don't look yet. Not till after we rate it.
Fine. So what do you want to go with this? It's less than a 5. It's way less than a 5. I'd say a 3.
Tell you what, start at 5. Again, 5 is just average. 5 is no inspiration, boring, but not bad.
Right.
I vote lose 1 star for the fucking pizza.
I vote lose another star for how long and drawn out it is, where there's just a lot of nothing happening. You should not be able to do that in a film and get praise for it.
And I want to vote on losing a star, and let me sum this up in case you see if you agree with me.
Okay.
All right. As I stated last episode, doing an homage to an 80s horror film is interesting when they aren't remaking them all now. So it's a moot point. And also, when somebody else has already done what you're doing, Tarantino with the Grindhouse films, and has done it to great effect, and has nailed what they were aiming for. And when other films that were involved indirectly with that, like Machete, those films, when other films have done successfully what you're trying to do, you better bring something to the table more than, look, the camera's not moving and there's a rotary phone. And look, I know how to put the titles up with the freezing. No, bring something else to the table. Tarantino knew, Rodriguez knew, all these other guys that did those homages that have come out over the past 5-10 years, they knew that you can't just remake a 70s film. You've got to bring something new to the table. You got to make it more interesting or build on top of that. So for that, for that total lack of understanding what it means to do something original when you're doing an homage instead of just ripping off Rosemary's Baby and boring the fuck out of me, for that you lose a star. Do you agree?
I agree.
2 fucking stars.
2 stars.
I'm saying 2 stars. The only reason he doesn't get a 1 star is because of Noonan and Warrenoff.
Fair enough.
Because I pity them for being in this fucking film. She doesn't even. She used the knife to cut the pizza. Oh no, she's washing it first. She washes it. She just runs the water over it. The pizza's. She's not even cutting the fucking pizza. I got the scene up now.
It is way cut already.
She touches the pizza with the knife, and the piece slides away. Slides away, and she washes the knife by running it under hot water. That's not how you wash a fucking knife, girl. Especially when you're going to use it to not cut a piece of pizza. Fuck you. He almost got 1 star there, motherfucker. 2 stars.
So 2 stars.
Before I change my fucking mind. And at 23% gave it 7 stars. Who are these fucking people? Dullards. Fuck America. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this.
6.7 from 5,966 people in males aged 18 to 29. That's
Only
the highest. That's the highest rated that they have.
Only
highest rating.
2.7% of the raters gave it a 2-star. How is this film popular enough to get 7 stars by 23% of the people?
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of 10s on there.
Literally one bite of the pizza. That's nasty. Unless they put all of the drugs in the tip of that pizza. If they just like dumped it all right in the center of that pizza, unless they did that, there's no fucking way that like even made her woozy.
Yeah.
God damn. We need to stop. All right, I'm done. Sorry.
6, 7s, and 8s. Mostly 7s. That's the average.
I would love to be at a dinner party and somebody brought this film up. I would love to. Oh, do you ever see House of the Devil? Was a good film. And they'll be like, fuck it. They'll be like salt and pepper shakers flying and shit. Like, ah!
All right, let's get to your movie challenge.
Hey,
so
please,
we can end the show.
Please, something that that distracts me from this.
I don't know if you're gonna like this movie challenge.
Well, probably not. Just to recap, last week we had done Terror Vision, and I went with Mary Warrenoff just because I've seen this film already. I hated it. I already expressed my hatred, and I really just wanted to make you watch it so we could review it. So that's really the only reason I did that. It was just because this has been brewing in the back of my skull, and we needed a whole episode for this. And so now your movie challenge.
Because you did that. Because you did that, it forces me to give this movie to you because I couldn't stop thinking about it, and the last. Well, first of all, I'll tell you what I didn't challenge you to.
Okay.
I was going to challenge you to Last House on the Left and the remake.
Because that would have been interesting. That would have been an interesting episode. I wish you'd gone that way.
Well, and maybe if you don't like my movie challenge, we can. Now that I've brought it up.
I wouldn't do that to you. But I mean,
and the reason why I is because of your hatred for this film, kind of mimics my hatred for Last House on the Left.
The original.
Yeah, the original.
Have you seen the remake?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's right. You really don't like the original, and I'm still kind of a fan, more so than I am of I Spit on Your Grave, which is I think the film quality is far lower than
it is much lower
than Last House. But yeah, that would have been interesting just because alone. I know the dynamic as far as you not liking Last House, and I would love to do a comparison of those two films because I do have a lot of criticisms with the. And
we can do it at some point. It's definitely something we can do at some point.
Not
I just don't know if I have 2 movies in me this week. to be completely honest.
Honestly, I'm with you, especially since I'm going to Hershey next weekend, and.
I am just getting fucking hammered at work.
Oh, I got poetry this weekend, and I have a poem to read on the show before we go, real quick. But keep going.
All right, so then I started thinking about that, and the 2 reasons why I was going to challenge you to it is because I hate it, and because it's that 70s style, and that's what this kind of mimics and all that shit. It would have been
a very good challenge.
And then I start thinking, well, what else could I do? And then I start thinking, well. There's a bunch of 80s horror films just that I could have challenged you to. But what I went with, and you've already actually mentioned the film.
Uh-oh.
Is
this episode?
Literally 5 minutes ago.
Oh, no.
You've already mentioned the movie.
No.
You've already mentioned it.
No. Please tell me you're not going
to... You know what it is? You must know what it is.
Not Rosemary's Baby. Oh, God,
Which is another movie I fucking hate.
Oh, I really hate that film. Wow.
But there's a lot of radio gold in that. I plan to have sound clips from it because there's so much in that film that you can play sound clips from that are just hilarious. Because it's so bad. Because it was so revered as a great horror film and it scared me and this and that. Can you believe that? It's bullshit. It's such a fucking bad movie. It's a stupid horror film.
Wait for next week.
You're right.
You're right. All right. That's a good call. And I haven't watched it in a while, so I'll have to revisit it over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I'll also be interested. I'll try to get the time to do some research as far as like looking up a lot of the. Again, it's held up as a cinematic classic, so you can find a lot of critical reviews and articles and theses on the film. It'd be interesting to find one or two that I really disagree with and talk about.
Right. Oh, and very quickly, for anyone that's out there listening, the connection is that the girl in House of the Devil, she gets impregnated by some sort of demon, and that is basically the main plot of Rosemary's Baby, that the devil has sex with her and impregnates her. Hence hence Rosemary's Baby.
Right, and at least it makes more sense with them because they... we'll get into that.
No, you can't get into it till next week. But I still hate the movie. Even though it makes more sense, and it's probably a better movie than this, but I haven't seen it in a lot of years. I just remember really hating it.
Me too, yeah.
So, no,
That'd be good. We'll revisit it, see if we're like over-exaggerating, see if we've mellowed a bit.
We gotta do some of the classics sometimes, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So just to close... last week I had mentioned that I'm trying to write poetry now based on I'm trying to expand my writing from reviews and short stories and fiction. And I'm trying to write poetry. I've done some poetry classes and I got a couple things that I'm getting the hang of it. So I'm trying to write poems inspired by films and incorporating dialogue from the films. So I have one I want to read for our audience. This is a first draft, so this is not a final work, but I want to share it now with our audience. This is inspired by the film Terror Vision from last week's episode.
Okay.
And the title of the poem is Holy Tomatoes. So bear with me a second and we'll just go through this.
Do you need any music for this or anything like that?
No. Okay. It's a first draft. It still has to be tweaked a little bit, so it's in the raw here. I feel like
you should have bongos for you.
Not that kind of poem.
Okay.
Well, maybe. There you go. All right. It's called Holy Tomatoes. That's how you have to pronounce it. Here we go. Holy Tomatoes. Holy Tomatoes. The postmodern Art Deco New Wave nuclear family is alive and thriving on Putterman Lane. Greek columns, Roman sculptures, and erotic lithographs were prurient pursuits. Does Stanley ticket like a man? That's what it's there for, baby. Remember, kids, you do your thing, we do ours. Lizardtail jerky, ouzo margaritas, ice-cold road heinies, a well-stocked bomb shelter, and a womb-warm jacuzzi. Brain rot and moral decay are just a pressed button away. Pleasure Palace, here we come. But heed my warning. Danger lurks within the Pleasure Dome. Garbage beamed in from outer space, this voracious beast cannot be tamed. Wired throughout every room, a vision of terror on every glassy eye. Martians diddling the women of the universe? Intergalactic swingers are the least of our worries. Luce Libre, softcore pornography, Channel 69, and MTV. You in the metal, kid? Kiss the boot. War stories and monster movies are educational. They always neutralize the enemy at the end. Belly down, soldier. The geeks aren't through with you yet. When the threat originates from within, standing your ground doesn't guarantee safety. And if you've exposed yourself with the do-it-yourself option, the warranty only covers repairs.
I like it.
So it's, for what it's worth, that's the first draft.
I like it. All right, everybody. Since we don't have our bookend audio, we're gonna just do this one more time.
Sorry.
It's not your fault.
Sorry.
It's nobody's fault.
My fault.
It's not. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for episode 122 of Moviesucktastic. Please visit our website and download all of our episodes there. You can watch us on live stream there. You can also go to iTunes and download our shows there as well. You can review us there. We would appreciate that. We always do. You can go to livestream.com if you don't want to go to our website, and you can watch our show there as well. You can leave us voicemail at our hotline at 908-514-4470. You can leave us email at themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. You can go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com, and you can go to our Facebook page, which is growing by day. We're getting tons of people on that. You can go there. Yeah, facebook.com/moviesucktastic. All right, everybody. You got any wisdom, Scott?
Fuck Ty West.
Good enough.
All right.
Good enough. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.